I'm with Abhi Banik, who's the head distiller here at the Copper Rivet Distillery. And Abhi, what do we got here then?
Right. So Rob, what we're tasting today is our color malt. So our second expression from Copper Rivet Distillery. Mm-hmm. And I would say I'm very excited about it.
Right.
I've always been a fan of grain whiskey because of it being soft, easy drinking, and I wanted to bring that same element for malt.
Okay.
That's why we did our column malt.
And this is different from so the first Masthouse that came out was the pot malt, and this is a column still distilled whiskey. What does that actually mean then?
So what it means is, first of all, if you see, we've got two stills. We've got Sandy, our pot still. So our first distillation of wash goes through there. And the second distillation for this product, we do it in the column still, where we actually slowly distill and maintain the congeners, a lighter style congeners in our whiskey, which makes it more easy drinking.
Okay. Everything
else is the same. If you think about the malt that we used in the pot malt and our column malt is the same malt itself. Fermentation profile is the same again, long 7 days to create all the fruity flavors. Wash distillation in Sandy, again the same. It's only the craftsmanship of running the column still and maintaining all those fruity flavors that we need just to create a softer, easy drinking spirit. That's what we have done in here.
And is that, I mean, it's an unusual thing for a distiller to do, isn't it?
Yes, I think in UK we are the first one to do it. And why we did it? As I said, we wanted to bring in that, the character of green whiskey, the softer, lovelier, fruitier, easy drinking whiskey into the malt whiskey portfolio.
Okay, well, I suppose we ought to have a little flavour.
Yeah.
Talk me through what I'm looking out for here.
So this is beautiful, isn't it? So what I like about our column malt is it is very soft. You can approach it very easily. It's very approachable whiskey. And it's sweet. It has got toffee apple notes. There's a hint of caramel in there as well. And if you think about slowly and slowly, there is vanilla mousse comes out. It's not intense vanilla mousse, softer vanilla notes. It's amazing, I think.
Well,
and if you spend
I'm a rank amateur in these things, but I like it.
Thank you. And it is so lingering sweetness in your tongue. It's just amazing.
Because a lot of people find some of the peatier Scotch whiskies are just a bit too much to handle, don't they? And this doesn't have any of that kind of chunkiness to it at all.
No. So this it is not peaty at all, first of all. So it is in the lighter style of whiskey. It doesn't have even the heavy oilier note that many of the Scotch whiskies will have. You know, the Highland whiskies which have, which brings in complexity. Great. But this one is like day-to-day drinking kind of thing. You know, if you think about wine, you have got the bolder wines, as you're talking about, the big red Italian wines. Yet we also have the lighter style Pinot Noir. It's not for everyone, but they are great in their own merits. Okay, it's an occasion how you drink it. Do you want it just a conversation wine? Okay, that you really don't want to get into the depth and the flavors of the wine. And then you bring in your big bowl when you're having a meal, It's the same thing about this whiskey.
So the column still, the whole point of it is that you've got these 40 plates that go through it, and that gives you a really exceptional amount of control over exactly how much of the congeners that you leave in it, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. So what it does, because of these plates, they all work like an individual distillation. So if you think about when we get to the steady state of distillation, they're all individually 40 distillations going on, and by temperature and pressure, we can actually create a congener profiling as well, okay? And then we start drawing off, and we see, right, when we feel it's the right time with the flavor-wise, and we start collecting the heart of it, okay? Where our aim for this was very slight, fruity, a hint of floral elements, okay? But when I say fruity, here we're talking about fresh cut pear, fresh cut apple, like green apple, those kind of flavors, rather than tropical fruits that we have seen in the pot malt.
And of course the barrel is massively important in all of this, isn't it? In terms of the flavouring, they've spent a number of years in the barrel maturing.
Yes.
Which barrels has this column still actually gone into? Is that different to the pot malt?
Oh, it is exactly the same barrels that we have used. So, as I have said before as well, for us, Copper River Distillery, our main aim is to push or to make people understand the distillery character. That's why barrel is important for us, so that it do not overpower it. So we use ex-bourbon barrels, okay, carefully, so that it just adds, the vanilla mousse that you're getting in, that is coming from the barrel. Just tiny hint, and there's a little bit of light oak shavings as well. These are the flavors that comes from the barrel to complement the distillery character.
Because in the pot distilled malt, you used some virgin oak casks.
Yes.
Did you this time round?
Not at all. Because the whole idea of the column malt is to bring in the lighter style. We did not. So when you use virgin, it brings a lot of dry fruit spiciness, which we wanted to bring down a little bit in this one, because pot malt, we wanted it because it has got the bold fruits in it, and that's what we wanted, the spiciness to create that complexity, which you bring in. As an example, you start with the column malt at any time of the day, and then
maybe after breakfast. Leave it until after 11. Yeah.
And then you bring in the pot malt when you started having your meal, when your palates are saturated with all the foods. That's when column malt comes in and punch in.
Right, excellent. So part of the whole process here, of course, is the fact that it's field to glass.
Yes.
Which field was the grain grown in?
It is.
Place?
To be very frank, it is still from the same field as our pot malt. So it's one less variable to actually compare in here. They both are from 40 acre marsh, and same exact barley, Belgravia, same way of malting. So 100% everything is same in that way till the last distillation.
And then once you decant it from the barrels, you have to marry it together, don't you? So just talk me through what that process actually means.
So in a barrel, it is living in there. It is a pretty symbiotic process inside the barrel. It breathes inside the barrel. So there is interaction with the barrel. But when you take it out from the barrel, because it has been closed in the barrel for so long, you need to let it harmonize with, we use around 7 to 8 barrels, harmonize between all the 7 to 8 barrels. So how we do it is we put it in a stainless steel tank, so there's no more absorption of any more barrel flavors, and let it breathe together till it harmonizes to itself. When I say harmony, we're talking about each barrel being different will give different elements. So some will maybe bring in more sharpness, I guess. Some will bring more woodiness to it. Now that has to all blend together so that when you're drinking it, you don't get it in, oh, right, it was a bit tannic, the first sip. Now it's different. But it will not be like that. It will be all harmonized, smooth and rolling, nicely rolling in your tongue, almost opening up all those flavors.
Well, I mean, I'm very fortunate because I'm having a taste of this now. When can anybody else get their hands on a bottle of the new Masthouse column still whiskey?
So we are aiming to release this imminently, but I will say in mid-June.
Mid-June?
Yes.
Mid-June 2021.
Yeah,
right,
I think it will be a perfect present for Father's Day.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Well, I think Abhi, it's a triumph.
Thank you.
I think it's absolutely glorious.
Yeah, I mean, it's a light whiskey. And yet, the more you savor it, you explore so much more flavors in it. Isn't it?
It's great.
Cheers.
Well done.